Hey everybody, it's Mia from yesmia.com coming back to you with another video. As promised, I told you I'd teach you how to cut the crease, as us makeup artists call it. Just want to start with a few things, teach you what your crease is, because most people will be like, man, I don't know how to put on eyeshadow, I don't know where anything goes. So I want to kind of show you how to map it out. If you look at my face even now, your eyes kind of show you where to put your eyeshadow on. There's variations of discoloration in your skin, and use those as maps to put on your eyeshadow. So, and what I'm talking about is, if you look here on my lid, okay, you see my lid is one shade, okay, and if you look right here in the crease, you see there's a little bit more brown. Do you see that? Just naturally, it's brown like that. And then my brow bone here, again, is lighter. Do you see those variations? So that is kind of your roadmap for placing eyeshadow on your face. Okay, so this should be fun, kids. I'm going to first of all take my beloved concealer. I've already washed my face, I've toned my face, I've used a serum, and I've also used a no shine control facial moisturizer, because I have an oily T-zone and I don't want to be shiny. So I'm going to take my concealer and I'm just going to place it on top of my lid. Doesn't have to be perfect, you're just going to blend it in. The thing is that powders are dry. So if you place them on a wet surface, they're going to stick, right? Now if you use a moisturizer that is more oil-based, then you may not need to use a concealer on the lid. Doesn't have to be perfect, just place it down. Ooh, that's just pretty. I'm joking. Okay, so now I'm going to use a really flat brush, okay, and I'm going to, I have an eyeshadow that's like a loose powder. See the shimmer that's on it? It's like a light shimmery green, and because it's a loose powder, I'm just going to use the color that's in the lid. So that's what I'm going to be using on the eyelid. Okay, whenever you use shadow, just tap your brush so that the excess can fall. I'm just gonna come in here and pat it down on the lid. Sorry, I kind of just blocked you. And the thing about loose powder eyeshadows is that they're buildable. So if I decide that I want it to be more saturated in color, I can apply another layer and it'll get more and more intense without looking cakey. And they're really blendable too. So I've done one side. Now I'm going to come over. And what's great about eyeshadow is, like, if you mess up, don't worry about it, because you can blend it out and then fix it. Okay, so don't be so tense, like, oh my gosh, I've never done eyeshadow before, and now you're gonna be just relax. It's gonna be okay. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Let's speed this process up just a little bit. So the shadow's down, okay, and don't worry about, you know, what that looks like, because after we cut the crease, I'm going to come back and add a little bit more of that. Now, the reason why I put my eyeshadow down first when I'm cutting the crease, and I don't put my foundation and my concealer and everything else, is because sometimes there's droppage and the black will like fall below the eyes. So I like to go ahead and put the eyes on first, do any cleanup, and then put my face on from there. Okay? Now, I'm ready to cut the crease. So one thing that I kind of like to do is wet that brush a little bit. Wetting the brush concentrates the color a lot more. And I do the same thing when I'm going to put liner. Like if I'm going to do just like a regular eyeliner, I wet my brush because it's like painting. It gets more liquid and then it stays there all day. So I'm going to take my navy and really coat my brush with it. You see that? Now I'm going to come right into where my lid is, right in between the crease, and I'm going to draw the line really sharp. And follow it all the way down. Do you see that? Make sure you get the entire crease. And this is really not a little bitty skinny line. Do you see that? It's pretty dark in there. I'm going to come in and get a little bit closer right here. Now my crease is cut. Do you see that? Looks pretty weird right now. Wait till it's done. You're going to be like, dang. Okay, so you want to come over to the other side, of course. I think I've taught you well by now. You want to do the same thing on the other side. And don't be afraid to come in on your nose, on the shaft of your nose a little bit. And my crease is cut. Do you see it? Right now that looks really weird, but don't worry about what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm going to take another brush that's like longer hairs, it's a little bit looser, and I'm just going to take a brown. It's like a warmer brown, like a terracotta if you will, and I'm just going to come right on top of that. Don't be afraid to follow in here on your nose, okay? This one you can be very loose with. Do you see that? Do you see how it's starting to shape out my eye? Now don't worry, we're not going to keep everything like this. We are going to go back and blend all of these surfaces so that they look right. Okay, so don't be afraid. When you put this shadow on, I want you to come into your brow, into the shaft of your nose, and then come over and do the same thing on the other side.